Motivation, for me, it's simple. I thrive on discovering and following other artists' work in all mediums. I think if you're going to be an artist, you have to have a healthy diet of always studying and discovering other people's work.
It's a process. Motivation is something that you can't really sustain. It's something that you have to have your process of knowing where it comes from. And for every person it's different, because motivation is what drives you, what makes you get up in the morning and be excited about your life.
I feel like I'm very critical of myself. I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And it's frustrating seeing how anything I do is it's never perfect, it's never good enough. But in another way, it's a good thing to have that characteristic to myself, because it motivates me, pushes me to do better.
I believe motivation comes from everything. Everybody has motivation from somebody else. I like to think, anyway. I feel like it's important to see somebody that has kind of the same thought process and goals as you, and maybe get some advice from them. Watching them, see what they did to succeed. And a lot of those struggles, I find anyway, from idols of my own, they have the same struggles, so I can learn from their experiences, and which motivates me how they overcame that.
My motivation has come from me getting to know myself, my experiences. They've really shown me what motivates me, and it's taken it takes a lot of sacrifice to find out what motivates you, because you got to be willing to try new things and to really explore how your mind works and really explore who you are. And that takes courage.
Every time I strive to do better, it just leads to the growth of what I'm working on, either my job, my occupation, my artwork, drawing, and writing even.
Yeah, I get motivated by a lot of things. It's not easy. I catch myself kind of slipping sometimes, or my mind tells me I should do something else, and I'll listen to it for a while, but it's finding that way to get your mind back on the motivated side, and that's true motivation right there.
It's my high, and I discover a new artist and I dig his work, and I'm going through all the imagery, soaking in all the details. It's probably like that shot of heroin for people. It opens up my mind, it really influences how I do certain strokes with a pen, and it influences how I picture certain scenes in my head.
I really found a lot of motivation the second I turned off the TV, because that was one of the biggest distractions in my life. And that's just common for this culture. In New Mexico, I found my love for hiking, my love for nature, and I started to backpack a lot, started to go camping, take a lot of hikes, and I found that was the one place where I could just let my mind free. I could just, all the problems of society, all the problems of my day-to-day life just dissipate the further and further I get away from, all the distraction. So, getting out in the outdoors, that really provided a huge lift for me as far as finding motivation in my life. And it's something I've never forgotten, and I've held on to it, for the past, close to a decade of my life now.
I just need to watch a director's newest film, or search out artists. You know, from the artists I already have a healthy respect for, I gotta see who inspires them and discover those new artists. And every day there's always a new discovery. Comic books always offer new artists. And that's all it is in any medium. I think if you want to be successful, it's like, you know, I always got that from the filmmaker, you know, Quentin Tarantino. He watches everything, no matter how shitty you think the film might be. Like, it's like I always say, even if you don't want to watch Smurfs Part 2, a healthy filmmaker tries to see everything, because no matter how awful the film, I bet you there's something you can learn from it. And it's the same way with art, it's the same way with books. People will knock reading the Twilight books, but you know what? There is something to be garnered there in crafting your technique. So motivation to me, you read everything, you watch everything, you research and try and discover all the artists, not even in your general area of interest. You try and soak everything in, because that's motivation. It's an inspiration. It's behind it. It influences all your techniques. It influences your style.
I grew up in a small town, so going to the city was something that really opened up my eyes. From being with a couple hundred people to thousands and thousands, it was a huge culture shock. But when I went back to the small town, I was motivated to want to leave. I felt like I was stuck. And my motivation from there just kept carrying me. I wanted to travel more. I wanted to see more of the world. When I did have a chance to leave and do my thing, I never second-guessed anything I did. You know, I wanted to get away because I knew I could make something happen with myself. And I knew I could figure things out for myself by personally experiencing them. I learned that's how I learn best, personally, and that motivates me. And I feel like I catch on things really fast. You know, I catch on to techniques, and you know, I hit a certain level, and from there decide, you know, do I want to get better at this, or do I just want to never do it again? And generally, I just want to keep getting better at whatever I do.
And what I've learned to do is kind of tailor my life towards the things that motivate me, and make every aspect, no matter what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, I try and find what is necessary for me to do, and I tailor my life towards making those things happen, so that when I get tired of one thing, I could jump to the next, and to the next, and to the next, and always feel motivated that I'm improving myself in this one aspect, in this one aspect, in this one aspect, so that I'm constantly growing. So for me, motivation is the key to growth. It is the key to survival, in my opinion. If you're not motivated, you can't be driven. And the only way to get anything accomplished in this life, you gotta be driven, you gotta be motivated.
So for me, if you're going to be an artist, that's what motivation means. It means doing your research, doing your studying, and discovering all the time. That's key. That's motivation to me.
Every level, like, I want to get to the next level. I want to keep pushing myself to do better, and it's like a sense of accomplishment, and it's never being satisfied. You just want to keep upping it, one-upping yourself in a way, and that's what motivates me. It's in everything, pretty much. It's to be, I guess, in a word, in an idea of success. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be well off, rich, famous, or anything. It's just I'm mastering my craft, I guess you can say, and that's how I see it.